With Christian Zionists, Netanyahu and his clan creating chaos and desecration of very First Amendment to U.S. Constitution. Welcome to Afro Synergy News. This is T. West. Before I share my thoughts on this topic, I would first like for you to listen to Candace Owens, a young lady I have watched grow from a quick-thinking, gifted narrator, and in respect to the greatest enemy of humanity, her naivety, to a fast-maturing person and an enemy of Netanyahu's clan. Candace is a person who has Netanyahu and the devils who back him extremely nervous. I will also discuss smart or intelligent bullets and DARPA technology likely used to kill Charlie Kirk. The Israeli state is deeply involved with DARPA. The U.S. Intelligence Advanced Research Projects Agency, known as DARPA, and Israel share a relationship of defense and technology cooperation, including joint research projects and strategic partnerships. A key component of this relationship is the broader U.S.-Israel defense partnership, which often involves technological research and development. Let's start with Candace.
Against him, I don't think we've been a sovereign nation since they shot JFK. And when I say they, it's like people online say, what do you mean by they? I'm talking about Israel. I don't want you guys to read in between. I'm talking about Israel. So let's stop making that a taboo subject, because they've gone mask down. Everything they're doing is demonic. I want nothing to do with it. I will never support Israel into the future after what they've done to these children. The starvation campaign. I don't care. Please write your article. You've already written them all. I don't know what you could write about me. But I do not support Israel, and I don't think that Jewish Americans should support Israel. And I hope that they're now having those conversations. I see many of them recognizing that they have been propagandized into believing they have to support this demonic state. And so I'm hoping now that we're getting to that point where people can recognize that whether you're black, you don't have to agree with BLM, whether you're Jewish, allowing your identity to shape your morality is problematic, okay? And Israel, in and of itself, is the demonic nation. I will never support Israel, right? So I went from working for PragerU to I will never support Israel. So that's how much the scales have fallen from my eyes about what they are involved in. And if this isn't your wake-up call to just look at the footage of what they are doing, they're playing Hunger Games and throwing food at them and then killing people and seeing who survives. It's just at your fingertips. You have to take a look at what Israel is doing.
Now let's deal with DARPA.
The guy that shot Charlie is over on this side, so he's seeing that guy, and he's also seeing this guy. This guy has to get out of the way from the guy in the white, and he steps forward to get in front of this guy so that the guy that's over here that shoots him can see him, and he rubs his right arm, and then you can see this guy in the background. Watch this.
You know how many massacres there have been?
There goes the signals.
Over the last 10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence.
Alright, this is where I really want you to pay attention. Do you see how this guy right here? He moved in front of that guy. He's actually leaning forward right here, and he's touching his arm. So that this guy right here in the white shirt, you can see he's holding the gun right there. Watch this. This is terrifying, guys. If I go frame by frame, watch this. So if I back up a little bit, the moment the guy in black moves his arm out, watch what happens. When the arm comes out right here, watch what happens to this guy. See how he's got his arm up? Now that guy raises his arms, and you can see the gun right here. It's gonna recoil. And then as soon as he gets done recoiling, Charlie moves. Here it comes. You're going to see that guy in the white shirt. He's going to lift his right elbow. Ready? Right here. He lifts his elbow. He's holding a gun. And watch what happens. He shoots it. His hand goes right back into place, and then Charlie gets hit. Watch this. Raise his elbow. Boom. Look at that. Watch the gun shoot right now. And watch Charlie get hit right now. Oh my God. Look at it, it's clear as day. The guy in the black shirt shows that guy in the white shirt in the background, his arm. The guy puts his gun up, puts his elbow up, pop, bang. Look at that. Pop, bang. Oh my God.
Now, as you can see, this is very, very damning information as relates to the Zionist state. I've shown you how the Israeli state is deeply involved with the Pentagon in the DARPA technologies, and specifically with these smart bullets. That is, bullets that can change directions, change angles, that can curve and hit people, strike people, assassinate people. This is the only way that this was possible for this to happen with Charlie Kirk.
Fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
You see it here. Yes, smart bullets are real. Anyone who will carefully take the time to infiltrate a South Korean company and insert explosives into a few thousand pager devices that they know will be distributed to Arabs in a certain region is a calculating devil. Anyone who will starve, kill, and murder tens of thousands of women and children is a spawn of Satan. Anyone who will viciously kill a young Charlie Kirk in the manner they murdered JFK because he was in the process of removing from the United States government what is now AIPAC and what is Jeffrey Epstein must be destroyed, must be plucked up by the roots. Anyone who attacks the boycott, divest, and sanctions movement on and off college campuses by targeting freedom of speech, the very First Amendment of the United States, must be thrown out of political office. This includes President Donald Trump. Now, Kirk considered himself a Christian, and his desire was to live up to Christian principles, which is contrary to much of the beliefs and practices of Benjamin Netanyahu and his occultish demonic clan. Kirk had started disagreeing with the massacre of Palestinians, something that Netanyahu is totally committed to. In fact, so much so that the protest in the Israeli state against Netanyahu was abruptly stopped after Netanyahu declared an emergency similar to his Ashkenazian counterpart in Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, who is also, like Netanyahu, trying to trigger a global war involving Russia and the United States. Netanyahu even had the Israeli constitution changed, Supreme Court judges sidelined, giving him more power. Even his criminal trial was abruptly ended. These things Charlie Kirk has started speaking about is what resulted in Netanyahu issuing his death warrant. It has not gone unnoticed that within less than 24 hours of the assassination, Netanyahu was on Fox News proclaiming it was the leftists and, get this, Islamists. Yes, that's right, Islamists who were behind this. Behind the killing of Charlie Kirk. Netanyahu wanted Americans' anger directed at Islamic people as he did following his people's 9/11 attack upon the United States. No, this assassination has the hallmarks of Netanyahu's clan. Netanyahu had recently invited Kirk to come to the Israeli state, and he was being promised more money than ever. Kirk refused the invitation and turned down the money. Kirk was moving in a different direction, more and more resembling that of Candace Owens' Road to Damascus experience. That experience has or was distancing himself from the yoke and the cult of Zionism that is supporting the greater Israel cult mentality, a cult that promoted, I will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. This is a distorted play on Genesis, the 12th chapter, the 3rd verse, which says, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now, unfortunately, with Netanyahu's clan, it is, I will bankroll you if you agree to and promote our supremacy agenda, and I will kill you if you start backing out of that agreement. Kirk, like Candace Owens, chose to start backing away from Netanyahu's Luciferian cult agenda, refusing additional monies. Now let's go back to Genesis, the 12th chapter, the 3rd verse. At this point in time, biblically, Israel did not even exist. This was a message to Abraham, not to Israel. What if Netanyahu and his clan are not Israel? What if, like Epstein's elaborate scheme of virtually owning the United States Congress, Netanyahu's clan has convinced most of the world to believe they are the people in Genesis 12:3? What if, like Epstein's elaborate scheme of virtually owning the U.S. Congress, Netanyahu's clan has convinced most of the world to believe they are the people Genesis 12:3 is referring to? This is exactly what they have accomplished, except there are those such as myself who know and can prove it is all an elaborate lie. Netanyahu is he's of Polish descent. He's a white European. The Jews and Hebrews were never European, but primarily black Africans, and still are. More and more the world is seeing Netanyahu and his clan as a hoax, a people juxtaposing themselves upon the heritage of others. Most Europeans and those people they colonized and enslaved, they were duped, have been duped to believe the lie as written in Zechariah, the 8th chapter, the 23rd verse, which says, thus says the Lord of hosts, in those days, these days, it shall come to pass that 10 men, Europeans, shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, Europeans, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, they believe is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, because we have heard that God is with you. The nations often being synonymous in the Bible with Gentiles, with Europeans. These Europeans would embrace the false Jews that Christ spoke about in the book of Revelation, the 2nd chapter, 9th verse, 3rd chapter, 9th verse. It is where Christ said Netanyahu's clan are not Jews, but even worse, they are of the synagogue of the devil, of Satan. We see this through their acts of greed, their acts of murder, their acts of genocide. That is their action. Europeans and Americans, they would empower these identity thieves because they believe if they bless Netanyahu's clan, that God will bless them. In an earlier post, you heard Trump saying these Talmudist people are the opposite of what Christianity is all about. Of course, this was before Trump was shot and suddenly increased his embracing of Netanyahu's clan. Is he afraid? Certainly. The United States House of Representatives, they just passed a bill blocking companies that boycott the Israeli settler colony state. They blocked federal grants, federal monies to these organizations. They are also working on a bill targeting U.S. citizens who speak against the settler colony state, giving the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio the power to take or deny a passport to U.S. citizens. Well, I got news for you. We are not slaves, and a real revolution is on the horizon. This is T. West with Afro Synergy News.